I love minimalism. I've never been able to either live that way in my environment or paint that way on my paintings, but I'm desiring that. So I'm trying to juxtapose something bold to contrast something bold with something quiet, something active with something still.
I'm working I picked up some tire treads on the side of the road on the way, and I'm imprinting into the plaster. And I have all these transfer techniques. I'm almost working with pure plastic, by the way. I might work with a little sumi ink and rust and a little bit of acrylic, but it's almost pure plastic, different kinds of plastics, and using it like paint, basically. So it's about the stain and the marks left behind, a sense of the memory.
Welcome, everyone. This is Inside the Artist Studio. I'm Beverly Todd in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and our guests today are Diane Williams and Chuck Potter, who are in Benicia, California. Welcome, Chuck and Diane. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us.
So we were visiting right before I hit the record button about a great trip you just took and the inspiration you brought home. Tell us what's been inspiring you lately.
It's funny. Rocks have become really important in my work. And whenever something starts showing up, I'm like, what does it mean? And I research it. And stacking stones has been a pretty interesting practice. There are the cairns that are like, the memorials for people who have passed. They can simply be road markers. They can be a symbol of strength, of the ability to stack the stones. And culturally, people have stacked stones all over the world. So in the desert, I became really aware of the stones. And I think the colors also in the desert, the earth tones. Recently, I've gotten into earth pigments, ochre pigments. They're very bright and very strong. And I'm fascinated always with the earth tones. So another thing is the starkness of, say, an ocotillo branch and the tension of the branch arcing across the blue sky is just, amazing to me. I love to infuse tension in my work, like the Chinese bird and flower painters do. And, then I can see that in nature everywhere.
The awe of nature is unlimited, from the smallest tiny leaf or branch to the boulder or the mountain. So you're talking a little bit about how your art's about excavation and earthing. Do you find as a couple, people who are creative and married to each other, do you inspire, influence each other? Does your practice kind of go hand in hand?
Yeah, it does. Diane was actually my mentor. She's been doing art. We've both been doing art about I've been doing art now about 26 years. She's been doing 40, and so she was my teacher to begin with, then I went back to school and we just started doing the work together. Of course, I had the construction background, I could build things and build models and do all that stuff. But yeah, we influence each other a lot, and our work dialogues really well together. She does it one way. Usually Diane comes from the left and I come from the right. We come somewhere in the middle,
We don't collaborate on pieces, but we consult each other all the time about what we're doing. And sometimes it's making suggestions about I'm stuck, what do you think? Where can I go? Other times it's philosophical discourse, like, I feel that there's always something that's just outside of my reach. I've always been considered an abstract painter, which is interesting because I don't particularly see my work that abstractly. It's not non-objective. I usually am referencing a flower or a bridge or a stone or something in the work. And a lot of the students will say, oh, I love abstraction. And I'm just throwing up color all over the canvas. And I say, no one wants to see that. That has nothing to do with abstraction. Abstraction is exactly like realism. You build it. Foreground, middle ground, background, time, temperature, light, heat, cool, movement, rhythm, all the elements that you would judge a great realistic painting by is how you learn to see an abstract painting. And the whole thing is to teach people to see. We need to learn to see, so that as we're working, and we're working with forces outside of ourselves, as we've talked about, like the ancestors, the muses, whatever you want to call it, you have to work together. You can't let those forces dictate everything either. You collaborate, and it's like, oh, the paint just did this. I thought it was going to do that. It did this. But when I look at it, it gives me an opportunity over here to counterbalance it. So I'm seeing what happened, and then I'm responding to it. And that is the dance. It becomes the dance.
Well, you talked a little bit about teaching, and the exciting news is you're coming to Santa Fe Artist Getaway in August 20th through the 22nd to teach A Sense of Place, which will be so much fun to have partners teaching. Tell us a little bit about what's going to happen in that workshop.
First of all, the space itself is so exquisite that it's kind of inspiring what we want to teach. I noticed there is beautiful windows with views and stools in front of the windows. So I thought, we can actually be comfortable in the air conditioner because it's August in New Mexico, and we can kind of sketch from nature and then work from sketching to abstract what we've seen out of the window. So I think that would be a starting place. The reason that we wanted to teach a sense of place, as I talked about earlier, is that my work often speaks about a sense of place, and the desert becoming so important to us is a great opportunity to let people view it in the comfort of the luxury studio,
In fact, I'm sitting in front of that window right now, and there's everything from pine trees to mountains to cactus right outside the window.
What better way? And then,
but there will be tactile experience.
Well, because a sense of place is more than the physical place that you're in. It's amazing when you're in a beautiful physical space, and it's amazing when you're together with a group of people, all sharing a common goal of taking a workshop together. But a sense of place also has to do with our personal place. And we bring our history to everything we do, everything we view. And so that will come into the sense of place also. Who are you? What is your relationship with being here now? Kind of a Zen concept, but that's how we are. Our degrees are in arts and consciousness studies. So we always bring a sense of consciousness to the work. Why are you making it? It's not only getting the mechanical part right, it's the reasons behind why we make the work. Chuck and I have a strong belief in art's ability to heal. So that's, kind of where we're coming from. These are powerful things we're doing for ourselves first, and then for the audience. We'll do exercises to help people loosen up. We like to get big sheets of paper and sumi ink on brushes and have people put their body into it. So we may start with some kind of a shaking exercise or a movement exercise, and then, throw it out. Let's make those marks. Later, those marks could be torn up and collaged onto the work.
We have all these techniques that, some that were given to us, some that we went through in our own programs, some that we've come across and just made up on our own, to help people see, the work in a different way, to kind of change and get the confusion between what the eye does and what the brain does and how that's perceived, so they can have that childlike witness again, and to open up the world and make it so rich that they can stare at a sidewalk for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's to work with them, to help them, just give them another point of view, to give them some feedback, to encourage them.
Give them permission.
Yeah, give them, to aid in their permission.
Everyone needs permission.
Because a lot of people, they get stuck. We work with professional artists who get stuck. We're known for loosening people up. They say, oh, we're really developed artists now, but our work's getting too uptight, and we just like the way your work is so loose. And so we work with them on that.
Okay, lessons learned. What is something you've learned in your life or art career that you would like to pass on? A lesson learned.
Well, I think that art has gotten me through a lot of tough times. I think that art has helped me to understand life. And I think that art has helped me to maintain health in the face of things like MS, that, we don't have control over some things that happen to us. But it's our attitude in how we're going to exist with the things that we can't control. We have some kind of control over the artwork we're doing. And as my teacher, Oliver Jackson, used to say, you're the CEO of your painting, and this is probably the only place you'll ever be CEO in your life. So use it, take advantage of it.
It drives me because it allows me to work outside of language and outside of thought patterns that are, beyond my comprehension. So it keeps me curious, it keeps me searching, and trying to always understand versus dictating, stepping back and observing and learning. And it's like the quintessential puzzle, that you never get bored working on. You get frustrated, you get whatnot, but the minute you let a little bit of time come back, you're right back to it again, because it draws you into it,
As an artist, we put ourselves on the precipice all the time. If we jump off the precipice, we may fly or we may crash. The painting may become really, really good, or the painting may fail miserably. We make those decisions all the time.
Okay, last subject topic. What is something behind the scenes, a secret, something, a tell-all truth you'd like the people to know? Maybe it's a non-artist you're talking to. A tell-all truth about art.
We as artists do not always feel confident in what we're doing. And this amazes some people. It's like, you've been doing it for 40 years. You sell art. Your art's beautiful. It's like, I'm floundering. That's the truth. Every day I'm floundering, but I allow myself to be there. And then I discover, and it's great.
So I think, the true secret is that it's a lot of hard work. And once you get started on it, just understand that, you might go without a lot of recognition or a lot of validation. You have to really get it down to the point where, it's all about doing it for the practice of doing it. It's a lifestyle, and that's my thought.
It is, and I think through our whole conversation today, I think the line that I've picked up, there is no right or wrong way to do art. The only thing wrong about art is not doing art.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of the workshop, because when we'll have 5, 6, 8 students, 10, 15, whatever, and you always will have somebody, they'll say, well, I don't really know what to do next. And they do nothing. And I say, it doesn't matter what you do next, just do anything.
Something.
And they'll go, well, left, what do you mean? And I said, well, what's going through your mind right this second? What color? Well, I don't have, and then we just start working with it. And they'll go, well, I've been thinking about using this chalk. I said, well, then grab that chalk and do something. I said, but do it bold. Do not hold back. There's no mistake. I just do the craziest thing that went through your mind, because when you do something bold, it sets up the contrast. It sets everything up for the journey now. And now you can work with that. And it's surprising. Every time that happens, it's almost always the same sort of structure. And you get the most amazing things that come out of the meekest people. It's like, wow, well, that was, and I'll even say, well, I didn't mean that bold, but that's great.
People always say to me, I don't know where that came from. It's like, that's what's so exciting about it. We never know what's going to come out of us.
Yeah, after every workshop, we laugh. I swear to God, it's so funny. Well, we always do critique, right? And it's always got to be positive critique, and we'll do critique. They'll put this stuff up and it just blows your mind.
So good.
It's just literally, you think of the first day and you think what they've gone through, and you think of the whole weekend you had together, the whole week, and it just blows your mind.
But when you're working together and when you can walk around the room, look at each other's work, talk to each other about why did you do that, and say, I'm going to try that. There's nothing like an in-person workshop.
Going out for a walk afterwards.
Yeah. But we can't wait for you to bring your beautiful energy and creativity to Santa Fe and share that with the students in your workshop.
I can't wait to see Santa Fe.
We've never been there.
We've been dying to get out there.
It is an artist mecca. Every step you take, there's something creative, beautiful in Santa Fe. Yeah. So until we see you in August, I am going to wish you well, and everyone watching, I'm going to wish happy creating. This has been Bev Todd at Santa Fe Artist Getaway, and Chuck Potter and Diane Williams in California. So
bye. Have a great art day.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.